let's hear it. Very good. And you take a seat. Thank you.
Louder.
Oh, stop it. Excellent. Wow.
It's nice.
Yes.
Bring the family along.
But you must get there wherever you go. You're a sort of superstar. And
Every time I go to the bathroom.
I don't want to think about that, but... but Roger Moore, now, is that your real name or just a boast? No.
It would seem it's a habit, wouldn't it?
Apparently.
Well, no. No, actually, my parents thought that I was going to be a girl and they were going to call me Margarita. Yeah. In fact, I was 13 before they let me cut my hair. I had my first long trousers when I was 12. You know?
Yes.
No. My real name is Roger Moore. Roger George Moore.
Yeah.
After my father, George.
Right. Now, from listening to your fantastic, mellifluous voice, one always imagines you coming from a very sort of aristocratic background. Sort of
I did.
Yes. And yet one sees cruel lies about you, saying you come from, you know, Stockwell in South London, and fairly, you know...
It's so embarrassing, it's a cross you have to bear. You know,
Stockwell's all right, it's a lovely tube station.
It's not Stockwell anymore, it's St. Ockwell.
St. Ockwell.
And then we went up market and we moved to St. Wreatham. I know my daughter had a house in Battersea.
Yes.
Whatever happened to the good old man?
I don't know.
Embarrassing, mate. Yeah. You know.
But when you were running around as a little boy, were you sort of playing hopscotch and saying, let's do the Lambeth Walk? It's... Look after your car, mister.
I'm sad to say that when I was a little boy, the Lambeth Walk hadn't even been invented.
No nonsense. Because you always put yourself down as a... I mean, because then people sort of start assuming that you're ancient and you've been around a while, but you're...
Well, let's look at it. Let's face it. I made the series Ivanhoe.
Yes.
You know, which I was a boy knight before there was film. Actually, it's rather frightening when you come to think of it, about how many years I have been in the business.
Yeah. Well, you went to Hollywood in sort of early 1950s, didn't you?
In the 50s, 1954, I went under contract to MGM.
Yeah. But before that, had you been to RADA or just your eyebrow?
I'll get you. No, only the left one, actually.
Yeah.
No, I saw that. They did that to me on Spitting Image. They had my eyebrows going up and down. I don't do that. No,
but you've done all right for all this sort of the jokes you make against yourself. You've been a star for all that time, haven't you? From Ivanhoe, then you were in the Saint, obviously.
I had 7 years of the Saint.
Yeah. That was your big break, you being the Saint. Mm-hmm. Who was Greavesy? But that was a big international success, wasn't it? That put you as a big success in America and obviously in Britain.
Yes, I think they say it was to be seen by 500 million people or something.
And you
which
were
is an awful lot of people to suffer, isn't it?
No, but you were very dapper, you know, big, strong, heroic type, good-looking. So
yes.
Yeah. So would you say your face has been your fortune? That and your percentage points on the Bond movies?
Well, I think I've been very lucky. That's been my fortune.
Yeah, but you've always looked like the heroic figure. You've never played the sort of nasty character role.
Yeah, well, you know, unfortunately, you look like heroes, you know.
Yeah.
I'm 6'2" and got a straight nose and blue eyes and even features.
Yeah.
And it happened to me in the army, you know. After 6 weeks of basic training in the army, they said, you know, because I joined, it was scripted, they dragged me away screaming.
Yeah.
I didn't want to go. I invented yellow jaundice. I said, I can't go. You know, I sort of managed to pass treacle, and they still took me. You know.
Well, they put you in the naffy, did they?
And after 6 weeks of basic training, everybody was posted off to, you know, different regiments and corps, and I was left there. I wasn't sent anywhere. And the sergeant kept saying to me, I corps for you, lad. I corps. I thought he meant I was going in the medical corps or something, you know, optician. And I was so dumb I didn't know it meant intelligence corps.
Right.
And I ended up at a WASB and I was given a commission because I looked, you know...
You looked like an officer?
Yes.
Yes.
And I spoke like one.
Yes.
So now look here.
This was after the war was over though, wasn't it? You were just wondering...
It certainly was.
Yes.
I wasn't going right off fire. Are you mad? I own me look like a hero.
But yes, I've heard you say this. You're not, although you've played all these heroic roles, you're not a particularly brave person. You say, or is that just a joke against yourself?
Well, I'm very cowardly. I'm petrified.
But you didn't bring any of that to your film roles, as you're always this heroic
No,
character.
you see, I put myself down as an actor, and obviously I must be a good actor because I always look as though I'm very brave and fearless.
Yes.
Actually, I'm quaking like this.
Yeah. And then the Bond thing came along. So were you worried about taking over from Sean Connery because he'd kind of been in the role?
Well, I replaced Jim Garner as Maverick. I replaced Robert Taylor as Ivanhoe.
Yeah.
I sort of replaced everybody.
Yeah. So you're happy to do that? The chance to play Bond?
Well, I was. The only thing that worried me about taking over from Sean was that I might say, "My name is Bond." James Bond. Yeah. And so I was petrified, really, saying that. And I practice at home. My name is Bond. James Bond.
Yeah.
Now, is that fairly daft? Nobody goes around sort of saying, "My name's Anderson. Clive Anderson." It's silly, isn't it?
Well, I do, yes.
Oh, you do? I don't.
Yeah. No, well, obviously, because you're not. But you used to do it as the Saint. You'd go around saying, "My name is Templar, Simon Templar."
No, he never said his name was Templar Simon.
No. Really?
No.
We just
At
had to
least
guess
I
it.
don't think so.
Yeah.
I can vaguely remember what I ever said in any of them.
Yeah. Well, I just watched an episode of it, so I'd
really?
remind myself of it.
What did you see?
I don't know which one, but it was set in. You had to go to Zurich in it, and you land in Zurich, and there's an airport scene which looks remarkably like Elstree Flying Club.
It certainly was.
And all the cars are Triumph Heralds and Minis and things. But it's got a big sign saying Zurich Airport. Just to, So was it a bit of a tight budget kind of thing?
Well, of course they were. Those tight budgets in those days. You know, we hadn't got the big American sales. In fact, any time they'd put Zurich or Paris, and they would shoot in Elstree, Bournemouth High Street, and then because the cars are driving on the wrong side of the road, not like the way they would in France, they would flip the film.
Right, yeah.
And you'd occasionally see a London bus going backwards.
Well, there's one, there's a bank, a Zurich bank, and there's a sort of a delivery vehicle, sort of saying J. Jones Deliveries, Clapham or something. I think you might have wiped that out.
Yeah, and all those rubber palm trees they'd stick in front of my face on the back lot. It'd be about 15 below, and it's raining.
Yeah, there's muddy fields in the background.
And there's this palm tree, and it says Bahamas, and a silk shirt. And then, of course, I did the Persuaders with Tony Curtis.
Yeah, and again, you were the glamorous, stiff upper lip Englishman, always well turned out dinner jacket.
Lord Brett Sinclair.
Yes.
And Tony was Tony. You read Joan Collins' book, Prime Time?
I don't think I have yet. I wait till guests are going to come on the show before I read their books. Once she's booked on, I'll read her book, not before.
You should read it. It's a very funny anecdote about Tony and that.
Yeah? Oh, well, I'll get a... You're plugging somebody else's book. This is...
I don't have a book of my own to plug. By Prime Time, Joan Collins.
Yeah. Now, is it right you're going to be doing a play with Joan Collins next year sometime?
We're talking about doing love letters.
Yes.
You know, that Stephanie Powers and Robert Wagner did in London.
Yeah.
We're thinking of doing it for a couple of months in America for a laugh.
But this is on stage?
Yeah, because it's a wonderful play. You just read letters. You don't have to learn anything.
Right.
About the most I've ever had to learn is my name is Bond, James Bond. I can't retain anything up there.
But you actually stand on stage just reading letters out, do you?
Yeah. No, actually, you sit.
Oh, you sit?
I'm not going to stand for 2.5 hours.
But have you done much stage acting? Because it's mostly been films and television.
Oh, well, no. The last play I did in the West End was 1954.
All right. So you don't want to rush back too quickly then?
I'm saving myself.
But we haven't really covered James Bond in any
We haven't covered James Bond at all.
No. Now, when you were offered the part, or if you were originally going to be considered for it with the very first one, when Sean Connery got it.
So they told me.
Yeah.
It was going to be either Pat McGowan or Sean or myself.
Yeah.
But I didn't even know what Bond was in those days, because I was busy doing The Saint.
Yes. It was not so wildly different from The Saint, or was it?
Well, The Saint worked for himself, whereas Bond works for a government.
Yeah. That's about the only difference.
That's about the only difference.
But did you enjoy playing that character? It's all sort of...
It was fun. I have to admit, everything I do, I have a great deal of fun doing.
Yeah.
I just like, I like working, I like getting paid. No, but I like being with film crews, I like being with actors.
Yeah. And you always seem to sort of drift through it as though, it's not really taking... maybe it takes a huge amount of effort, but you always look as though you've just strolled in, done a line and wander away again. Is that a deliberate style, or is that you? Is that the real Roger Moore?
If the acting shows there's something wrong.
Yeah. But you're not like kind of these sort of het-up American
Oh,
actors.
no. You remember the wonderful line of Laurence Olivier to Dustin Hoffman.
Yeah.
Dustin Hoffman, when they were doing Marathon Man, sort of went off around the block and ran for 10 miles and came in and could hardly get a word out. And Olivier said to him, why did you run around? He said, because I'm supposed to be exhausted. And he said, have you ever tried acting?
And have you? But
not since the left eyebrow dropped.
so how many of those Bond films do you do?
I did 7.
Yeah, and did you think, oh, I just can't do any more? Or you've
Well, I think I was quite honestly getting a bit long in the tooth. They were running out of actors who looked old enough to be knocked down by me. I always used to jokingly say getting up out of a chair was a stunt. But a stunt, you've got to get up. Oh, God, that hurt. Yeah.
Yes. So do you ever get together, all the Bonds, reunions, so Sean Connery and Pierce Brosnan, Roger Moore, and that other one, George Lazenby, and the...
You're right. We were doing, back in the good old days with Louvre and Sunday night at the London Palladium. And I was on with Jimmy Tarbuck at the time I was doing The Saint. And Jimmy Tarbuck said, you're the Saint. He says, and Patrick McNee, he's the Avenger, and Pat McGowan, he's Danger Man. And Sean Connery is Bond. Do you see one another? Did you go out together? I said, yes. He said, pussy galore. I said, we don't go looking for it. Oh, no, I get what that means.
Of course. Couldn't make that joke nowadays. Probably. Now, you mentioned UNICEF. Now, you're involved you're sort of an ambassador that goes around the world on UNICEF's behalf? Or is it?
Yes, well, on children's behalf.
Children's behalf, yeah.
We're as spokespersons, we're advocates for children.
Right.
You know about advocacy?
I do, yes, but, I was lucky if I got to Luton as a barrister, but you get sent to Rio and to New York and to Paris.
Yeah, but I'm not going to the glamorous side of Rio. I'm going to see what life is like for street children.
But you're basically going around the same sort of places you used to go as James Bond.
Yeah, so this is, actually, it's one of the things I'm bitterly ashamed of, is that sort of making Octopussy in India, and really I was just too busy worried about my own self, my own well-being, making the film, and I was conscious of the poverty in India and the suffering. But now, today, I go to those places with a different hat on.
Yes.
And it's worrying.
Yeah.
It's worrying. Rio was the same way. They're doing Moonraker, and now I'm back with the terrible plight of the street children. And I tell you.
So, you say you go there as an advocate of children. Where do you do your advocacy? Are you addressing audiences? Are you going around saying, "Hello, I'm Bond, James Bond. I'll, let's get a school built here"?
No, in developing countries, you go and you knock on ministry doors, presidents' doors, and you say, "Hey, listen, children have to be your priority," and you just love them.
And if they don't listen to you, just take a pen out very slowly and start unscrewing the top.
Yeah,
so you've got 5 minutes to get this done.
I frighten the life out of them. And then, of course, I tour America and Canada and doing fundraising dinners and Europe. Spent a lot of time in Germany. We were very, very generous with UNICEF.
Yes. All right, well, it's been delightful to meet you, obviously, but I've got a whole audience here begging and crying out for asking questions. Oh, lady right at the back there.
Is there any role you'd like to have been asked to play which you've not had the opportunity to do?
I would have liked to play Harrison Ford's father in the one that Sean made so much money out of.
You're not obsessed with money, are you, by any chance?
I would have liked to have done The Rock, which Sean Connery did.
You can't always take over from Sean Connery.
Why not?
There must be some other roles you hanker off.
Well, I've never wanted to play Lear.
No.
And I'm too old to play Hamlet.
Too old to play Lear. But no, you're not. But did you do the classics? You'd have been fantastic being Romeo, and then Hamlet. Why not?
Too many lines.
Yes. Yes. Lady there, blonde hair.
Who was your favourite Bond girl?
Favourite Bond girl?
Well, I think it's always unfair to play favourite Bond, favourites, because the others say, "Why didn't you mention me?" But Maud Adams.
Well, that sold that one, and the chap in front who I didn't get to that time.
What did you think of GoldenEye?
Goldeneye.
Goldeneye, I didn't see all of it. I saw,
Well, that's already a criticism, isn't it?
No, because my son was working on the production side.
Yes.
And I went out to the studios when they were making it. They showed me a couple of reels.
Yeah.
And I thought it was tremendous, terrific stuff.
You didn't feel tempted just to wander behind the camera a couple of points? Pierce Brosnan's acting away like, I'm Bond, James Bond. No, he's Bond, James Bond.
The scenes I saw, I thought he was excellent.
Yeah.
He was excellent, so why go and depress myself?
No, I thought it was good. Girl in the Blue.
Yeah. As Bond, did you do your own stunts?
Did you do any stunts? The flying and the diving and the skiing?
No, I have to tell the truth. I didn't do all of them.
Yeah.
I did the things like jumping off the cliff with the parachute, off with the parachute thing, those sort of things. So that I always had a double for the kissing scenes.
Yeah. Well, you've been quite rude about modern films, saying they're too sexy now and the kissing's too graphic and there's...
Well, I must say, when I started making, I remember Lana Turner, first film I starred in, a film called Diane. And I was playing opposite Lana Turner, and she was 35, I was 26 or 27. And we had this big first romantic, passionate kiss, and I took her and I kissed her. And she said, "Oh, Roger, you're a wonderful kisser, but I am 35, and if you press the chin down, the neck doesn't look so good. Put the passion in, but not so much pressure."
Well, they don't worry about that now. There's everything goes in now.
No. Oh, my God, you see what they have for breakfast, do you?
Yes, you're eagerly putting your hand up. It must be a good question.
How do you cope with being such a sex god, Roger?
Are you asking him or me? Let's get this clear. Just concentrate on question, Roger. How do you cope? Cope with being a sex god? Cope with being a sex god. Have you always been a sex god for a start?
Well, shall I tell you what? I go and I pick up my bus pass.
Yeah. Come on, it must be a taxi pass at any rate.
I don't think about that sort of thing.
Oh, you are? You're thinking about it now, I can see.
Well, come to think
A droll smile is playing across your lips.
Yes.
Okay, thank you very much. Roger Moore.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Okay. Thank you, Roger.
Thank you.
All right. Well, that's...